bitty city sitting pretty in a crop top. Riding through the city with my bitties in a drop top. Looking like the jackpot, dope it in a crack rock. Got these niggas wanna give me brain like a laptop. Bitches they hate cause I'm having my way. When you buy action, ain't nothing to say.
So in this video, I want to kind of dive into Unison, right? The first video, the simple vocal chain, was more for beginner artists, beginner musicians that just wanted a decent sound, something quick and easy that didn't take a lot of explanation and understanding. All right, so now when we get into Unison, so what does Unison do, right? So Unison, once you pull a preamp into Unison, what it does is it takes that preamp and it automatically creates and turns it into a built-in preamp with your interface, right? So it is no longer acting as an insert, right? So what happens is if I turn on my 610B in the Unison slot, as you can see, this whole knob here just snapped to orange. Now let me show you what just happened. I'm going to move my cursor over here, and as you can see, you can no longer hear me. You can barely hear me. As you can see, I'm actually turning my input gain knob up with my interface, right? So what happens is my 610 just became a preamp that is built into the interface and now is controlled by the interface. The cool thing about this is in ways you are able to control your hardware and your software at the same time. Your hardware being your interface, your software being your plugin or your preamp, right? And they actually will try to emulate the actual sound of the developers, right? So that's the coolest thing I would probably say. One tricky thing about using preamps in Unison would be your gain staging, right? So to be honest, when you are kicking your preamp in Unison, you're really going to have to crank your gain levels on your preamp. If I turn this off, you can see my knob is not even all the way up, and you can probably still hear me almost the same. Without a preamp at all, you can see how amplified and how loud my voice is. You actually see me peaking over here, right? So once I turn on my 610, as you can see, I'm cranked all the way up here input wise. I'm cranked here on my level, and I'm cranked here on my preamplifier gain as well. The thing about it is, of course, we like to use our ears. We say, turn the knob until it sounds good. The thing about recording and trying to get the best recordings is all about levels. It's all about your gain staging. So gain staging is the most important part of recording, in my opinion. So if you're not really familiar and aware with how to gain stage properly, I would say be careful with the Unison slot. All right, so that's the cool thing about Unison. Like I said, it basically takes a plugin and it builds it into your interface. Whatever interface you have now becomes basically an outboard preamp, right? So it almost emulates you actually having that outboard preamp that your microphone is going into before it hits the interface. So that's super, super cool about Unison, but it can be tricky if you don't understand gain staging.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that follow button, that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Check out our website, rebelears.com, for all the cool products we have for you guys. Follow us on social media, Rebel Ears Podcast on Instagram, Rebel Ears on Twitter, Rebel Ears on TikTok. And I'll see you guys next time. Be safe.